Good evening to everyone present here. So yesterday we started about publishing SCI research articles as a webinar. We had 2 days of session. Yesterday we covered how the publication outlet is going to be and how to fix a good title and novel abstract, manuscript, how it can be prepared and submitted, how to address the reviewer comments and the manuscript acceptance. And now, today we will be seeing the genesis of a paper, how the contents of the paper is going to be, and what a reviewer can expect, and how can you avoid plagiarism in your paper, and what is the decision criteria for to accept your paper in a particular journal, and how your article could be cited after the publication. That we will look into that. And some of the key points what I wanted to mention here is whether you belong to any category, whether you belong to engineering, arts and science, or social science, or management, or law, or philosophy, or biotech. Likewise, you belong to any category, any domain of education. So in whatever be the arts and science, in any field it is, so in sports, any field it is, you have to write your article to be published in a journal, good journal. So what's the meaning of a good journal? So a good journal will be having high impact factor. What's the meaning of high impact factor? How many publications, how many authors are sending papers, how many publications are there for the paper, how many, whether those papers are all, how many citations for their paper, for all those papers, that will decide what is the impact factor of the journal. There is a formula for the impact factor of the journal. Every journal is having its own impact factor. Depending upon that, they'll be deciding what is the impact factor of the journal. Based on that, a good journal will be justified. Now we will see what is the genesis of a paper. Before going into the details of genesis of a paper, you are doing a research. When you are doing a research, you want to come out with some results, some observations, some outputs, some valuable outputs from the process what you have done over the data what you are having in your hand. So that is what research is. Any domain it is. So Albert Einstein's quote is here: "If you knew what we were doing, it wouldn't be called research, would it?" He asked like that. So what we are doing, we do not know. Because in the research, what will be the output? You are detecting a medicine for cancer, or you are, even for COVID, they have invented a medicine. Whether before the start of analyzing all the aspects, COVID aspects, whether they know what will be the output, we do not know. What we are doing, we do not know. And after completing the research only, we will come to know that we have done some research. Say, for example, if you take a smart city project, or you take a digital image processing project, or you take a artificial intelligence project. So what you are going to do will not be known earlier or in advance when you start your research. So now the objectives under the genesis of a paper is going to be, you must formulate a research question. Yesterday I told you that whenever we are confining a research, then we will be forming the research questions. What's the meaning of research questions? Say, for example, I have taken my device called virtual eye. So in the virtual eye device, what is the problem? The problem is a blind person has to walk from his location, from his house to the working spot, or a blind child has to walk from the child's house towards the school, or wherever the child wants to go. So what are the possibilities? What the device has to do for the child? So the child has to start from his location, or the blind person has to start. So he must be knowing the starting point, starting location, and where he wants to go, that location should also be known. The location points, landmarks, location points, he must know. Latitude and longitude, and according to the latitude and longitude, what is the landmark of that position? Maybe latitude 80 point something, or 12 point something. 80-12 is the Chennai area's latitude and longitude, and so 80-12. And likewise, every location, Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, Calcutta, every location is having its own latitude and longitude. And according to the buildings, according to the numerous elements which are available nearer to that particular location, you can understand that this is the landmark, which is, with this landmark you can get on. You are traveling to some places in a bus, or you are going to Bangalore, or you are going to Pune, or you are going to somewhere else. So you know the location where you have to get down. How do you know the location? Because there is a landmark, there is a signal, there is a shop, there is a mosque, something, there is a temple available. So depending upon that only you are getting down in that particular location. So there is a landmark associated with that. You must know the landmark. For a blind person to go from one location to other location, he must know the landmark, through which landmark he has to walk and where he has to go. So these are the problems. And then any obstacle is coming in between, he should not hit the obstacle. He has to move away from the obstacle and safely he has to go. How do you frame the research question? How can we construct a device which will avoid obstacles on his way? Likewise, you have to write the research question. And then what is his starting location? How many and what is his ending location? How the device will make the person to walk from his starting location towards the ending location without any problem. Likewise, you have to, what are the microcontroller devices available? How many output ports are required, or how many input ports are required? How the blind person will be tracked if he is lost at somewhere else, whether he will be losing his location. Likewise, you have to frame the research questions. So forming the research question is very essential when you go under the genesis of the genesis of writing a paper. So be able to better formulate a research question, not only one question. If it is a thesis or if it is a very big research, then you have to go for 3 questions, 4 questions, 5 questions, like that. You can go for any number of questions. At least one question you should answer through your research, and feel more comfortable with the research process. If it is a clinical research, then you will, whatever domain you are doing, pharmaceutical domain, 2 of my scholars are doing research in pharmaceutical. One scholar is doing drug identification and delivery system. The other scholar is working on electronic health records. So how to manage, how to maintain the electronic health records so that the data will not be lost and the data will not be hacked. Likewise, they are analyzing. So we should know the domain at where we are working. Understand the differences between quantitative and qualitative approach. There are 2 approaches available. One is a quantitative approach, the other one is a qualitative approach in doing an academic research. Even in R&D also, we have quantitative and qualitative research. So when you start doing your research, say for example, if you take a smart city project, there are digital twins available. What's the meaning of a digital twin? Digital twin will make, whenever you want to construct a building, what do you want to have? You must have the blueprint in your hand. What is a blueprint? The blueprint will say you how the room look like, what is the size of the room, what is the size of your kitchen, what is the size of your bedroom, where is the location of your bedroom, where is the location of your puja room, and where your hall will be located, where are the steps located. All this will be available. How the front elevation will look like, where the garden space will be. All this will be available in the blueprint of the building. So when you see the blueprint, then after the construction of the building, you can check according to the blueprint whether the building is constructed or not. That you will know. So what the digital twin will do, like the blueprint, the digital twin is also making a simulation of what we are actually going to do in the project. Actually, what we are going to do before doing your project, you must have a simulated output or simulation kind of thing, so that you will see what the output will, how the output will appear after you do your experimentation. So that is what digital twin is doing. A lot of simulators are also doing. Digital twins are already in place, and in smart city projects, mostly we are hoping to work with this digital twin. Digital twin is a catchy thing that you should understand now, because almost all the cities in India are going for is transforming themselves as smart cities. Chandigarh, Pune, Bangalore, and other cities, they are transforming them. Chennai and other cities, they are transforming themselves to smart cities. What's the meaning of smart city? You must have everything smart. When you enter into a mall, automatically the door is opening. When you go there, automatically the escalator starts moving. Likewise, when you see the glass opens, or when you go nearer to your car, the car automatically opens. Likewise, see, we want the environment to support us. We want the environment must be to be too smart. What's the meaning of that? The environment should understand what we want. Accordingly, it is going to give the output for us. That is what that is where digital twin plays a major role. So when you go for publishing papers, the important concept, the companies what they are using nowadays, you can see Google, Microsoft, IBM, and top companies, even startup companies, they are all working with catchy ideas and novel ideas. So now you can see digital twin, federated learning, and deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, generative AI. All these are the very, very catchy topics. Digital image processing, medical image processing, IoT, interoperability in Internet of Things, computer networking, SDN, software defined networking, wireless body area network, SDW band, and all these are some of the important topics related to computer science and engineering, even for electronics engineering, even spectrum analysis, 4G to 5G, 5G to 6G, how the conversion is going to occur. These type of keywords are appearing in your paper means immediately your paper will get published. So now, whatever methodology you are going to use it in your paper, that should not be made available in your research. You should not write the digital twin based something in your research question. You should see what is important for you, what is required for you, how the blind person walks from this location to other location. Like that, you have to write, not the methodology you have to write. So you have to develop your question, and you should know the clear purpose, know the literature. Literature means what are the papers already available. You can see whenever you want to do your research, you can see the related papers in the research. And those papers, in which journal those papers are published, the same journals also you can select for your paper to be published. That also you can do. And try to specify the purpose. Who has written that paper, what is the purpose for them, where it has happened, where they have collected the data. Like this, you have to ask the research questions and what is the research process. And then after knowing the research questions, you have to formulate the problem statement. Your problem statement can be design and development of a suite of algorithms for the betterment of Salesforce analysis. Likewise, you can write your own problem statement. And literature, according to the problem statement, you have to find out what are the types of papers available in the same domain. So how do you identify that? By using the keywords. What are the keywords? The keywords are what are the technological advancements happened in that particular domain which you are doing research. According to the technological domain, you can write the keywords in Google search or whatever search you want to do, you can find it out. Nowadays, you know that Copilot is there and everything is there. Even when I start preparing, that Copilot comes and asks me what you have to do. But I didn't seek the help of Copilot. I have done this. And determination of the design. What is the design aspect and what is the methodology we are going to apply, through which methodology we are going to get your output, and how do you collect the data. Say, for example, if it is a retinopathy related project, how will you get the data? Not all the doctors, all the hospitals are going to have retinopathy related images in different stages of retinopathy related images. You have to go to the hospital and sit with an eye specialist, and how many patients are coming directly to meet the doctor. You have to sit and see and get the images every day, and how the doctors are asking questions to the patient, and what type of diagnosis he is giving to the patient, the doctor is giving to the patient. All this you have to notify and make a record of that, and this notes will help you in devising your paper. And after that, the data analysis, whether all the data are pertaining to one type of retinopathy or different types of retinopathy. All this you have to analyze, and then compare your interpretations. So the steps in research process: selection of your topic, review of literature, formulation of the hypothesis. Always you have to formulate your hypothesis. Hypothesis in the sense, it is an assumption. What is the meaning of assumption? Say, I have done a device actually for visually impaired. It is a virtual eye, and the device was kept in a belt, and the belt was kept in the waist of every person. And this device consists of a lot of sonar sensors, and these sonar sensors are able to see directly and left side and right side, even at the back side of the belt also. I kept one sonar to see what are the obstacles which are coming in front to hit the person. So when obstacles are being identified by means of using the sonar, once again. I have to make my own assumptions. What's the meaning of an assumption? Yes, from a fast moving rifle which is coming at 300 meters per second, whether my device is able to capture it, won't capture. So these are all assumptions. Assumptions means beyond that my device won't work. There is a capacity, there is a limitation for my research which I am doing, which I am inventing, which I am prototyping, which I am productizing. So those are all called as hypotheses. Those are all called as initial assumptions. Those assumptions have to be kept initially. So these are the conditions through which my device will work. And aims and objectives, materials and methods, observations and results. All these are this will appear everywhere. And now we can see whether we're doing a quantitative research or a qualitative research. Coming to quantitative research, you have to take it in numbers. Say, for example, among a particular amount of population, with how many people are getting affected by tumor, or how many people are having skin cancer, or how many people are normal with normal, how many people are athletes, or how many people are having this particular disease, or how many are having higher income or lesser income, how many are having own houses. Like that, if you go, then it is called as quantitative research. It will be in terms of numbers, remember. And if you go for disease identification, how many plant disease identification, you can see how many plants are getting affected by the particular disease. Like that, you can go. And qualitative research will be represented always in terms of words, in terms of written statements. And in terms of qualitative statements, what you can see, what is the level of disease which occurred for a particular, which affected a particular person, you can see. So for this and all, you can go for Gen AI principle. What is generative AI? AI, you know, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is making a system to understand what we want to do. The system can also do the same, the way in which we want to do. So that is called as artificial intelligence. A machine can understand. Machine will react like a human. That is artificial intelligence. And what is Gen AI? Gen AI, it consists of feature engineering also. You can develop a lot of things from Gen AI. You can combine two different musical notes and form a new musical note. You can what else you can do? You can combine anything with anything, and you can create new novel things by the use of generative AI principles. You are generating something. Artificial intelligence is incorporating intelligence to the system. The system will give what you give as an input. That will be repeated back by the system, reflected back by the system as an output. But in generative AI, what you are not giving will also be reflected by the system. That is called as generative AI. So you have given, say, an example I give you, or digital image processing, medical image processing, you can take it as a domain. So in medical image processing, what you will do, you can analyze breast cancer, can analyze any disease which is affected for the person, and X-rays, other CT scans, MRIs, and all this can be fMRIs, all this can be analyzed, and we can come to a conclusion. The doctor will diagnose, and you can give a suggestion to the doctor that these cells are getting affected, densely affected cells or loosely affected cells. Like that, you will give some suggestion after your medical image processing research. When you are, what happens to this is what artificial intelligence will do. What happens to Gen AI? You can combine the features of one particular cell with the features of another cell, and you can create any new device, you can create you can take some features of dog, and you can take some features of a cat, you can create a new species, new animal. You can take some species of a flower, rose, and you can take some features of some other flower, hibiscus, and then you can combine both and you can create any new flower. Even as yesterday I told you the Blue Brain project, and they are developing the human brain. And we also started working on developing a human memory model, because brain project is a very big project and hundreds of people, thousands of people will be working in the project, whereas developing a human memory is itself is very difficult. We have long-term memory as well as we have short-term memory. Short-term memory, we will remember only very little things, very smaller things, very a chunk of 7 items only we are able to recall after some time. If you see a chunk of 20 items or 15 items which will be kept on a table, and you could have seen these type of games. So you can see all these items, and after 1 minute they'll take away all the items, and then they'll ask you to how many items you are remembering. They'll call you and ask. You will say only 7 or 8 items you are able to say. And some people who are having highest memory power, they may able to tell more than 10 items also. Like a human capacities, we can remember 7 chunks at a particular point of time. Chunk in the sense it is an information. So information processing theory through the brain again. So these type of projects or works will get published immediately if you go for brain computer analysis, or if you go for metaverse, or if you go for NVIDIA kind of GPU kind of analysis, or high performance computing analysis. And then if you go for quantum computing related research, because quantum is a fancy word nowadays, and China and other people are they are standing in the front position. And IBM has also come out with its IBM Watson. What is IBM Watson? Again, it does some data analytics, and it is able to provide a quantum chip or quantum computer, because it is working in a light. The capacity of light is what is the speed of light? 3 into 10 power 8 meters per second. At that speed, if you are able to transfer the data, you are able to send the data to a far off place, then it is easy. Then the speed of data will be very, very high, because we are using smartphones, 4G, 5G, 6G, like that we are coming. So when we are analyzing 4G, 5G and all other aspects, then the speed is also very, very important for us. When the speed is very, very important, we will be looking into the aspects of 5G, 6G. When you go for 5G, 6G, then again you will look into the aspects of millimeter wave communication, and then you will look into the aspect of software-defined networking, and then you will be looking into the aspect of faster communication, microwave communication, millimeter wave communication, quantum technologies, software-defined networking. All these are behind the face of fastest communication. If you apply papers in that particular domain, you have to work on these concepts, and these concepts will be very well recognized by the wireless communication journals, wireless personal communication and wireless communication journals. And quantum, there are a lot of journals available, and in quantum computing also you can see quantum cryptography and quantum computers, and then quantum communication. And then we also came out with some cryptographic techniques in quantum. How the cryptography, again, network cryptography, and then we can go for, if you go for security, you can combine security with quantum also, and that those journals will also accept the novel ideas related to quantum cryptography and all other things. So these are some of the domains where you can concentrate more on. Again, spectrum sensing is another important concept through which you can work, because spectrum is, what is spectrum? So everybody is using mobile phones. Everybody is using electronic gadgets. When you start using the entire spectrum, it's a visible spectrum, the entire spectrum, or RF spectrum. So what is the meaning of the radio frequency we are using? So the radio frequency is very, 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 very limited. And you started, that is why you are going for using the light signals. So Li-Fi, you could have heard the word Li-Fi, light fidelity. Why don't you use light to transfer your data? Likewise, there are a lot of avenues available for you to do your research. When you go for doing research in terms of quantitative, that is in terms of numbers, it is quantitative research. In terms of some idea, some kind of statement representation, then it is called as your qualitative research. You can use numerical data to get the effective statistics. Wherever you go, you have to do the mathematical analysis, then only you have to go for the physical kind of analysis. Again, if you go to the quantitative and qualitative analysis, because it's very, very essential, assumption about the world, how the quantitative data will be taken, how the qualitative analysis will be taken is given here. It's a logical thing. Assumption about the quantitative is every data is available, because whenever you want to do your research, every data is available in the world. What is available in the world with respect to the data, what is available in the world only, we are going to develop the research in the world, and we are going to provide the result also into the world. So assumptions about the world must be known to us, and quantitative always we must have some logical sense. So for even for election results, before the election is going to happen, there'll be the journals or the magazines, what they are doing, newspapers, what they are doing. They're asking some people and asking who will win the election, which party will win the election. Likewise, they'll make a campaign. So after a campaign, whenever they are making a campaign and after analyzing the results given by the people, they'll come to a conclusion that most of the people like this particular party, this party will win the election. Likewise, they'll say. So how many people, whether they are going and asking to all the people, they are not going and asking to all the people. They are asking only a limited set of people. That is a sample size. That's called a sample size. This sample size represents the entire population. This sample, whatever, maybe 100 people they are taking, or 10,000 people, they are able to get some forecasting result outputs. And these 10,000 people are representing how many people? They represent the entire population of India, or entire population of Tamil Nadu, or entire population of Karnataka, like that. So we must know what is the population and what is the sample size, whether the sample size is representing the population or not. So these are all the assumptions. So these type of, in terms of numbers, if you go, then it is called as quantitative analysis. In terms of logical connections or constructive connections, if you go, then it is called as qualitative analysis. Always perceptions are coming under qualitative analysis only. That is about the context and assumption about the world and the research purpose. What is the purpose through which you are going to do the research? The goal of the research is always you are doing a scientific research or you are doing an experimental research. Say, for example, for arts and science people and physics, chemistry, nanomaterials, there are lots and lots of research which is happening in nanomaterials. What's the meaning of nanomaterial? They are chemical constituents. What is available in between the chemical constituents? The micro level nanomaterial. Because the virus, COVID virus, we are not able to see through our natural eye. That way, they are able to develop that virus. So nanomaterials, what's the meaning of nanomaterials? Nanomaterials are very tiny materials, and those tiny materials, with those tiny materials only our SIM cards and chips and everything is being done. Very, very, even we are not able to visualize those materials. Those kind of materials are also being developed through the concept called as quantum computing. Remember, quantum communication, quantum computing. Quantum is mostly working on the principles of very, very tiny materials, where those laboratories are establishing those kind of laboratories are very, very costly. Even that will be useful in satellite communication, atmospheric communication. Though they are using quantum computing principles and all that. So these are all some of the catchy domains through which, if you apply your paper, those papers will get published immediately. Federated learning. Federated learning, again, what's the meaning of that? Artificial intelligence, deep machine learning, deep learning, and then you are going for artificial Gen AI, and then you are going for federated learning. Federated learning is machine learns is machine learning. We are thinking that the machine learns, that is machine learning. Deep learning, again, you are incorporating more number of dense layers which are not known to you. Those many dense layers are doing the job and providing the output immediately, and you do not know how many layers are in between the input layer and the output layer, how many hidden layers are there. Deep learning, deeply they are analyzing because it is densely packed. And then what is the meaning of federated learning? You are not going to change anything which is available in your machine learning or the deep learning concept. What you are going to do is the entire structure is going to work as same as it is, and then just whatever changes are happening in the structure, that changes will alone be taken into consideration for doing any analysis, and those changes will be incorporated on top of the existing device. What's the meaning of that? Earlier we have black and white TV. After that we had color TV. Whether the black and white TVs have been thrown away into the dustbin, they were not thrown away into the dustbin. They were able to capture the color image which is being transmitted by the TV station and able to provide to us in terms of black and white. That's the meaning. So this is a concept of federated learning. You can do the modification without changing the existing infrastructure. And you are having your 2G mobile, 3G mobile, 4G mobile, 5G mobile. Even some of the mobile phones, they are able to capture. Your 3G mobile phone is capable of capturing the 2G signal also. Your 4G mobile phone is capable of capturing 3G signal and 2G signal. That's the meaning. So the entire infrastructure won't be changing, but whatever is coming, newly coming, that we are able to accept it. Even the technological advancements we are able to accept in the world. So in that way, your research perspective should also be what is the social phenomena, why you are doing research, and what is the researcher's participation. Everything has to be taken into consideration in qualitative analysis. And the methods and process, whether already the methods are available or the new method is going to be incorporated, and what is the emergent design, new design. Even if you go for reconfigurable configurations, configurability. Say your mobile phone is there. You want to insert something, you want to incorporate something newly into your mobile phone. So it can be reconfigured. What is the meaning of reconfiguration? Reconfiguration is you can incorporate, you can do some add-on ports. Through the add-on ports, you can incorporate some new devices into the existing device so that it is able to tune to a new situation and it is able to get adapted to the new situation. That is called as reconfigurability. And prototypical studies, again, whenever you do your research, finally you want to make the device to become, whenever you want to do your research, you want to make a device at the end. That is called as a prototype. As because it is a first device, it is called as a prototype. If your first prototype works, then you can go for alpha test, beta test. Likewise, you can test the device in your own place, in the customer's place, and wherever you want. You can, even if you devise a new algorithm or new software, the software can be tested in the developed place, and it could be tested in the customer's place. That and all will be done in terms of prototyping. And then researchers, what is the role of the researchers in the quantitative place and in the qualitative place? Immersion in situations required in qualitative place, and quantitative, it is not required for the researcher to be immersed in the situation. And what is the context? Quantitative, you can generalize because the 10,000 people, you are getting your ideas and what will happen in future, that you are asking, because you can generalize the ideas. And whenever in qualitative, even if it is generalized, the generalization will be contextually bound. What's the meaning of that? Through which context he has spoken that particular statement. In that way, the contextually it will be bound. What is the context? You can take your location, because I'm sitting here. This is my context. What is the context? It is now the time is 7:30 and I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you. This is the context, the time, the location, on what domain I'm speaking to you. And these are all contexts through which I'm getting connected with you. All these are called as context. How the context is very important because it provides the metadata also for the data what is being provided in the research, what is being developed, what is being collected in the research. And then precision is the use of measurement and so how many times you repeatedly you are able to get the same result is called as precision. And for that also description is required in qualitative. Always you should go quantitative, you can collect and keep it. Qualitative, always you need some quality in the data what you are collecting. And verification, again, understanding for the data. And explanation, again, quantitative total explanation, whereas in qualitative, you give the reality between how the relationship is existing among the data. And logical reasoning, It is deductive reasoning, it is inductive reasoning. What is deductive reasoning? What's the classic example? Is there a deductive reasoning? Inductive reasoning, anyone have an example? That is an inductive. Because we are not having any example. Anyone is having, then you can tell me. Likewise, if you ask, then it is called as inductive reasoning. And conditional conclusion statements are statistical. Because quantitative, you have to provide your result in terms of statistical analysis, but qualitative, you have to provide a summary. So this is about quantitative and qualitative. And types of coming to the quantitative studies, you can have descriptive, experimental, quasi-experimental, or partially experimental, or correlational. Among the data, what is the relationship? That kind of predictive analysis we can go for. What do you mean by predictive analysis? Whether it will rain tomorrow or not. That also you can predict. Next year, what will be the gold price? Next year, what will be the petrol price? Whether the stock will get increased today or tomorrow, and whether to buy this particular stock. You can find out the stock prediction and all that will come under this type of quantitative research. And coming to the research using the primary data, you have a cross-sectional data or case control data, cohort data. Cohort data, again, it's a group of people. Among the group, you can understand what is the relationship among the data. And randomized controlled trial version can also be treated as an experiment, and that can also be coming under a research type. And coming to the cross-sectional study, you can see what is the relationship among the data which is available inside the data set. Data gathered at one point at one time, in time. So at a particular point of time, whether the day, what is the, say for example, at Tamaram, what is the rain at 7 o'clock, how the climate is, and at 9 o'clock or the climate, it will change definitely. Time to time, the data gathered at a particular location will change. That is what the cross-sectional study is. And we can use it for survey and get some inferences like the weather forecasting system and all. And case control study and cohort study. Case control study, depending upon a particular case, particular patient comes to the hospital, and particular patient's history can be analyzed. That can be coming under whether he is having a lot of risk about his life, and whether how many months he will live because he is affected by cancer. Like that, if you go for, then it is a case control study. And a cohort study, a group I said already, and so they identify a particular set of people who are related to that domain. You take that particular. For nurses, you are doing a project. Whether what is the mental pressure which is exerted by the nurses? What is the mental pressure which is exerted by the pilots, because they are overloaded. Likewise, you can go identify a particular set of group and analyze that particular factor, stress factor among pilots, among nurses, like doctors. If you go, then it will be a cohort study. And randomized control versus controlled trial versus research using secondary data. Randomized means you can take a randomized assignment. You can take among the group of people, you can take only some people, and then you can apply your research. Secondary data, if you want to get, because it is a real data you are getting from the group. And secondary data from the literature only you have to get, from the journals only you have to get. And you can do the literature, 15 years literature you can go for, 20 years literature you can go for. That depends. That is systematic review. You can review your data. And meta-analysis, data about data should also be analyzed by you, so that you can, there is not a systematic review, but you can find out in which situation the data is being collected, whether whatever data the earlier experimenters have used that data, the same data. Say for example, PhysioNet is there. So there you can find out a lot of ECG data, EMG data, EOG data, every data, all the data related to your human diseases are available. So those data you can collect, but you should check how many attributes are there in the data, which year and that particular data is being collected, and like that you have to see. So whenever you want to do your literature, and whether that data, if you work on that the same data, something you will be getting some inference, whether it will be applicable to the scenario where you are, whether for an Indian concept, whether it will be applicable. That and all you have to check. And analysis of the existing data, you should do all this, because whether that particular, because already the data was collected, they are having their own data repositories. In those data repositories, you can see flight data, you can see Titanic data, you can see Salesforce data, you can see Iris data. All these data are available as in terms of data sets in the Google's website. You can go not only Kaggle, lot of different websites, the Physionet I said, lot other websites are available. Even Stanford University is having its own website. Many universities, MIT is having its own website. In our large language models and NLP, natural language processing, and theory of computation, artificial intelligence, all this they are having. Definite vehicle data is available. Likewise, they are having two-wheeler data, four-wheeler data, train data set is available, flight data set is available, ship data set is available, and many data sets are available, remember. So all these data sets are taken, according to the scenario, in what context they have taken, that will be available. That will be recorded in terms of attributes in the data set. Say, for example, if you take image data set of your eye data set, then they can see whether it's a left eye data or it is a right eye data, and what is the age of the person related to that eye image, and whether he is having normal functioning of an eye or not, whether any disease is there. Likewise, what is the time the image is taken. Likewise, there are a lot of metadata analysis. That is what analysis of existing data, use administrative data for research, regularly collected survey data, or data collected for another study. Some other study they could have collected the data. The data can also be used for some other purpose. So these are all the genesis of the paper. Genesis of a paper. What's the meaning of the genesis of a paper? Includes whether you can go for, you have to find out your research question, and you should know the process through which you want to do the research, and what are the steps in the research process, whether it is a quantitative research or it is a qualitative research, and what are the research types, and how will you do the research, how will you go ahead with the data what is available in your hand, how will you summarize your findings, how will you apply your methodologies. All these are coming under the genesis of writing a paper. All this you must be knowing, and at the same way, after the catchy title, I said about virtual eye, I said about agribus. I have given, I said about my another PhD work as cyber cafe and cybernet. Likewise, we have given. So cybernet again, cyber hygiene, I have given one more paper. Cyber hygiene, you want to be hygiene, no? So everybody wants ourselves to be in a hygienic situation. So cyber hygiene, what's the meaning of it? What is cyber? Cyber is digital data which is revolving in the internet. So digital data exploration, data analysis, all these are again some of the important domains through which you can submit your papers. I'm also doing one more research in smart city using digital data analytical platform. We are developing an analytical data analytics platform, so that we can interconnect all the data together. I saw one news sometime before, and somebody have started one startup company, and the advertisement also is coming in my mobile phone. Your mobile phone will also be receiving the same mobile phone. All data in one box, all in one box, like that they are advertising. So all the inboxes, maybe Gmail and other mail inboxes, all those data will be collected, and they are providing the data into only one inbox. That was a startup company. I came to know that the startup company was procured by somebody else, the very big giant company, for more than 400 or 500 crores of money. So likewise, they are having their own ideas, and using those ideas, how to interpret or incorporate their ideas to invent something in terms of developing a new software, a new application, or new hardware, like that they are coming out with. So these are the domains. Data analytics is also business analytics is also a very good domain through which you can apply your, can work on that, and you can apply your paper. You have to do the statistical analysis about the data, and then how you are going to present your data in a modular way, in a numerical way, or in a way through which what others haven't done earlier. So this second point is about the reviewer's expectation. And coming to the reviewer's expectation, yesterday also we have seen what the reviewer will expect. 28 point criteria is available, and out of that, mostly 24 points, they will check what is the whether the title is catchy. Number 1 point. It must be sweet and short. It should not be a long title. I'll give all the details one by one. And peer reviews of a 5-step process they have given. In some of the journals, I have taken this particular peer review 5-step process. We can see, and what are the evidences, and whether the study or whatever experiment you have taken is related to a particular domain, whether you are well versed in that domain, that is very important. So you can see scientists study something, some of the scientists, they are analyzing, they are looking at the telescope and visualizing the atmosphere and seeing the sky and analyzing something. And scientists write about the results. They analyze something, they invented something, they are writing something. And after writing that, they are sending it to the journal editor. Journal editor receives an article and sends it out for peer review. He is sending it to some reviewers. These are all reviewers. He is sending it to reviewers. Peer reviewers read the article and they are providing their own feedback. They are not specialists. You don't think that peer reviewers are specialized in that. I mean, not all the reviewers will be specialized. They'll be knowing, they know whether the relationship among the data is perfect, whether the statistical evaluation done is perfect and correct. In that way, they are experts in the domain or in the paper. And then they'll be sending back their review comments. And editor again in turn will be sending the reviewer comments along with his own comment also. May send the reviewer comments to the scientists who may then revise, and then they will resubmit the article for further review. If an article does not maintain sufficiently high scientific standards, it may be rejected. They'll say that your article is not comfortable, not meeting the requirements of the journal's perspectives. That is why your article will be rejected. That in that manner they will say. If they accept the paper, then if an article finally meets the editorial and peer standards are defined by the editor, and paper standard is defined, paper work quality is defined or analyzed by the peer reviewers, and after meeting all these requirements, then it will be published in the journal. So this is the peer review process. In the peer review process, it's very, very competitive. Why I'm saying it is competitive? If you go for high, because we are talking about SCI journals, mostly SCI journals, you can see Wiley journals, in Wiley International Journals, Springer journals, Elsevier journals, IEEE Transactions, IEEE Access, and all other, and private journals are also available, and all other Taylor and Francis, and other journals are also available. You can you can verify in each and every domain the journals are available. So they'll take more amount of time. It is time consuming because 3-4 review comments you can expect, and after one set of review comments you will be answering again. They will send the second set of review comments also. In that way, vigorously they'll be checking everything. Even they'll check a comma, they'll check a full stop, the line numbers and everything they'll be checking, because it is a highly regarded. So example they have given, you can see one example here. The journal Science is there. The Science is a journal. In that journal accepts only 8% of the article it receives. If it receives 100 papers, it accepts only 8 papers. And one more journal you can see, New England Journal of Medicine. Medical journals are very, very highly competitive, because they'll be producing some results. Also, if the journal is publishing those results, every doctor or every physician or every nurse, every worker in the medical field, they will take that into consideration and they'll use the data. So they are very, very competitive. So New England Journal of Medicine, it accepts only 6% of its submission. If 100 papers it receives, it accepts only 6 papers. Likewise, the competition is. And why? Because they believe, because the people who are reading the journal, the researchers who are reading the journal, they trust the data provided in the journal. They trust the article provided in the journal and published in the journal. If you are not familiar with the topic, then you can see, you can get the help of your supervisor, or you can, because the paper is published in the particular journal, definitely it is a good paper. Likewise, we will come to a conclusion, and the knowledge which is provided from the journal will also be very, very important and competitive in nature. And incorporating into the because scientific people are available and they are highly knowledgeable people, and highly knowledgeable people are only analyzing the results and producing the paper in the, publishing the paper in that particular journal. And it is not only science, as I said, it is law, art, ethics, and everything, network, everything can go. Everything you can go. What are the other domains? You can see all the domains of analysis, even craft, everything. We are having a lot of journals related to any domain. Artists may judge any contest. So peer review is a hallmark of science. What's the meaning of that? Peer review is very, very essential. That's the meaning. They are doing it. Why they are doing? After analyzing all that only, the paper will cross the boundary and it will reach for publication. Again, author submits the revised manuscript. Revised manuscript he is submitting second time. Author submits an article assessed by the editor, sent to reviewers. Reviews assessed by editor, accepted, and production and publication. If it is not accepted, what happens? It is rejected. And further review needed or not. So they will ask you to go for minor revisions or ask you to go for major revisions. Sometimes they will reject. Reviews assessed by the editor. Editor is not happy, he will reject. Or if editor thinks that some revisions are required, he said author submits the revised manuscript at the end. So it is very, very essential for you to write your review comments properly to the expectation of the journal. And what are the steps? Submission of the paper, editorial office. This is from the Wiley I have taken. Editorial office assessment they are having, and appraisal by the editor-in-chief. He is also assigning one more editor. EAC assigns an associate editor also to go through the paper, and then the associate editor will make a call for to the reviewers. Sometimes the journal will also ask you to assign or suggest some reviewers. You can also suggest some of the supervisors or highly knowledgeable persons around you as your as the reviewers. You can recommend the reviewer's name also to the journal. Sometimes the journal will also accept the reviewers. Response to invitations means the reviewers are accepting. Review is conducted. Journal evaluates the reviews, and if the journal is not happy with the reviews, then it will go for the other set of reviewers also. It will go for, or one more reviewer or two more reviewers it will go for. And after analyzing all the review comments, the editor-in-chief will understand that the decision, what is the decision of the journal, then it will be communicated whether it is rejected or accepted. Then next steps, review might be done by the handling editor. Can also do some more changes after you submit the revised manuscript. Some more changes will also be done by the editor, then it will be published. So this is how about the peer review process. So you must be very careful in submitting your paper. It must be original paper, and you need not copy, and the results will be very essential for the paper, and the results will be promising by the paper. That way you have to do, because it is highly competitive. You must know that how the paper has to be written, the English, the writing styles, and even all the other Elsevier and other journals are having some English correction, grammar correction, and so you can also get the help of some of the private people who are voluntarily doing all these works and supporting work. This is writing is supporting is being given to you. Paper writing supporting is also being given to you, and they are also asking whether any paper writing is required for you, or whether either journal paper writing is required for you, whether any thesis writing is required for you, whether any grammar check is required, English corrections are required. Likewise, they are also supporting a lot, and through those domains also you can seek the help and do the work. And the next point is how to avoid plagiarism. Avoiding plagiarism is very, very important, very critical actually. We should not copy anything from any of the papers. But it is not possible for us because everything is available here only. With that only we are taking things from here and we are writing our paper. So the plagiarism can also be taken directly from the paper, or you can take one paragraph and doing some changes in the paper, that is called as paraphrasing. Whatever content is there, you will be taking from the same paper, that is called as direct plagiarism. Paraphrasing is you are doing the change in the para written in the previous paper, that you are doing some changes and writing it in the paper is paraphrasing. And complete plagiarism, the entire paper itself can also be sometimes the same title without changing the title, without changing, they'll be inserting the author, new author names and publishing. They're trying to publish the local journals or the fake journals. That should not be done. Complete plagiarism, self or out of. We have written our own paper from the previously it was published. From our own papers also, we could have taken some content and writing it in the next consecutive paper. Auto plagiarism, accidentally will copy some data and you forget about writing the courtesy or where you copied, like in the references you missed that, or you didn't do the citation. Mosaic plagiarism, source-based plagiarism, patchwork plagiarism. The way in which you are doing the plagiarism is represented in this case. And Oxford University has given a good definition for plagiarism: presenting work or ideas from another sources as your own. Because from the another sources we are treating that as our own data, with or without the consent of the original author. With the consent of the original author or without the consent of the original author. By incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement is known as plagiarism. This is the definition given by the Oxford University. There are consequences. If you copy something from somebody else's work, then there are consequences. What other people? Because it has happened in our vicinity also, we came to know that some of the people who have copied that information from other people, they were sent out of the institution also. It happened there. And the academic reputation will go less. Likewise, there are some consequences in copying the plagiarism. You can see one by one academic dishonesty penalties. It happened, I have seen directly. That is why we are asking you to go for some reputed concerns, some private companies, what they are having. They will avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism checkers are available. Authenticate is available. Turnitin is available, and many other plagiarism checkers are available. And when you apply your journal to journal paper to elsewhere or somewhere, they have their own plagiarism check, and the journal finder is available. All these facilities you can make use of. Also, you can go for the people who are there doing research, real research, and helping the academic community and the student community. You can seek the help of them so that your paper will get published without any dishonesty. So you can see the academic dishonesty penalties is a cause of plagiarism: damage to reputation, failed dissertation, expulsion from academic institution, plagiarized research, professional setbacks, legal issues, delayed graduation or loss of degree, missed learning opportunities, and loss of funding. All these are some of the problems associated with the copying plagiarism. When the academic dishonesty, if you have copied some information and you have published that, then definitely there will be a dishonesty. It is called as a dishonesty. You will be kicked out of the academic program institution, receiving a failing mark on that dissertation. Your dissertation won't get passed, and paying heavy penalty for your disrespectful acts and expulsion from the institute. It will happen everywhere. Even government institutes, it will happen. Private institutes, they are not 100%. They are checking the plagiarism, but as you people are the driving community, you should not do any plagiarism. Your paper, you can seek the help of the professors. You can seek the help of the companies who are supporting academic and R&D writing for research papers and research publications. So in academic writing, that definitely it will reduce your reputation. That people will think that you are not having knowledge, just you are copying and among yourselves. And failed dissertation, your thesis won't get passed because it will be sent to the foreign examiner and the Indian examiner. They will know. They could have come across many research works like this, and they'll be knowing about your research domain. So that again, universities are not taking. Universities are very crucial in knowing about this plagiarism, because they are inserting a concept called plagiarism checking even in UG project, undergraduate projects, as well as PG projects, as well as PhDs. The plagiarism rate must be lesser than 10% or lesser than 5%. We are seeking we are providing, we are giving a strict instruction to our students that your plagiarism in your paper or in your thesis or in your report must be less than 5%. You can seek the help of the institutes, or you can seek the help of the people who are really involved in research in providing plagiarism without plagiarism. They are providing papers, and you can go for them and seek the help of the professors and other people. And expulsion from academic institute will also happen. And next one is plagiarized research. The entire research will also be plagiarized. Say, for example, a plant disease identification. Somebody has done a research, had done a research for muscimilla. You want to do a research for citron. Likewise, the research, the same content, you can copy it and you can submit it. So that the entire research itself is plagiarized. Even for diabetic retinopathy, many people could have done the same research, but your methodology, your way of approach, your findings must be different. In that way, you have to do. Should not copy anybody's research, and 100% unique content should not appear, because the world is shrinking because of the digital evaluation and digital exploration. Definitely, everybody will come to know about that this particular content is being copied. And professional setbacks. If you can copy, but you have to give your courtesy, or if you have to give your reference or acknowledgement from where you have copied, that you should give. But you should not copy the same content as it is when it is how it had appeared in the previous paper or previous content. And professional setbacks, definitely you will face the consequences, and your employees won't give respect for you. Your co-workers won't give respect for you. Legal issues will also happen. You can see in movies and all, you are seeing a director comes and release a particular movie, and somebody else, they are coming and saying that this is my story, he has stolen my story. That is why we are going for copyright, we are going for patent. And in Chennai, Gindi, we are having our patent office. There you can register your patent, or you can keep, you can file your form 1 or form 5, whatever you want to do. You can file your patent, you can file your copyright form, you can